Brothers and sisters, on this quiet night, when the world seems unaware of the invisible currents moving beneath its feet, I must share with you a revelation that cannot wait. In just a matter of hours, on November 17th, something long foretold will begin. The Blessed Virgin Mary, in her tenderness and concern for her children, has allowed a final message to reach us before this moment arrives. And whether you believe you are ready or not, this message will determine the protection of your family, the clarity of your soul, and the peace of your heart in the days to come. Stay with me until the end. Not because of fear, but because heaven itself has chosen this moment to speak to you. For many of you, especially those who have lived long enough to witness the world change in ways you never imagined, these times may feel unfamiliar, unsteady, uncertain, heavy on the spirit. Perhaps you have felt that something is shifting, as if the very air carries a quiet warning. Perhaps you have sensed a restlessness inside you that you cannot explain. I tell you now, with all humility and reverence, that these feelings are not random. They are the echo of a divine call. The Blessed Mother is preparing her children, not with fear, but with love, for what will unfold beginning November 17th. And before I reveal the signs, the testimonies, and the message entrusted to the visionaries, let us walk step by step with serenity into the heart of this revelation. My dear brothers and sisters in Christ, let us begin with what has happened these past weeks, events that have drawn the attention of faithful believers and doubtful hearts alike. Around the world, from quiet villages to bustling cities, more than 77 Marian apparitions have been reported in the last 3 weeks alone. These are not isolated visions from troubled souls. They come from children, from elders, from laborers, from doctors, from nuns hidden away for decades in prayer. They come from places that have no connection to one another, and yet the message is the same, the timing is the same, the urgency is the same. In Medjugorje, a humble visionary described the Blessed Virgin appearing with her mantle of blue and white, her eyes filled with both sorrow and hope. At the very same hour, a child in Pakistan saw the same figure standing beside her bed, pointing toward the horizon where the sun will set on November 17th. And across the ocean in Sao Paulo, Brazil, a neurosurgeon with no belief in miracles encountered an inexplicable presence while performing delicate surgery on a 7-year-old girl. He and his entire medical team witnessed a woman of extraordinary beauty, surrounded by a fragrance of roses, guiding his hand and saving the child's life. The little girl awoke after the surgery and said with innocent certainty, "The Lady of the Blue Mantle says that on November 17th, everyone should be in a state of grace." Why this date? Why now? Why so many signs converging at once? My brothers and sisters, heaven does not act without purpose. When Our Lady appears, she appears not to dazzle, not to frighten, but to guide and prepare. And the convergence of these apparitions is pointing us toward the beginning of a spiritual event, a moment the Blessed Virgin herself called the great illumination of the heart. This is not destruction. This is not the end. This is an unveiling, a moment when light will touch every soul, revealing the truth within. For some, it will bring peace. For others, a call to return to prayer. For all, it will be a chance for deep transformation. But before this illumination takes place, the Blessed Mother warns that darkness will attempt to rise in confusion. Evil cannot bear to lose ground, and so it will try to stir anxiety, conflict, discouragement, and division. This is why she asks us to prepare spiritually. This is why she urges us to pray, not later, not someday, but now. Let me share with you another testimony, one that speaks to both the pain and the hope of this hour. In a small chapel in Cordoba, Argentina, a woman named Carmen Rodriguez, who had cleaned the same chapel every morning for 40 years, witnessed something that left her trembling. At exactly 3:33 a.m. on November 8th, the image of Our Lady of Perpetual Help began to shed tears of blood. Carmen, who is 73 years old and known for her quiet and humble nature, fell to her knees. In her own words, she felt both fear and comfort, as if the Blessed Mother was saying, Do not be afraid, my child, for I cry not to terrify, but to call my children back to God. Tears of sorrow, but also tears of love. Why does the Blessed Mother weep? Because she sees what we sometimes fail to see. She sees families falling apart. She sees faith growing cold. She sees loneliness in the hearts of the elderly, confusion in the youth, and a world that has traded holiness for distraction. And yet she does not despair. She warns because she loves. She calls because she cares. She invites because she longs to bring her children back into grace. Now listen carefully, brothers and sisters, for these are the three signs that Our Lady revealed would precede the illumination. The first sign, a wave of spiritual awakening among children, especially those under 12, who are receiving identical dreams and messages across Latin America and beyond. This is already happening. Thousands of children describe a woman dressed in blue, calling them to prayer and peace. Children do not fabricate global patterns. Heaven speaks through the innocent. The second sign, the unnatural movement of migratory birds, crossing continents in directions never recorded before. Scientists struggle to explain it, but the faithful know that all creation responds to the voice of its creator. This sign is unfolding at this very moment. The third sign, a personal interior experience that each soul will feel within the next 24 hours. A stirring, a restlessness, a sudden clarity, or a moment of unexpected peace. This will be the final call to prepare before the illumination begins. It is not to be feared. It is a gift. And now, let us turn to the core of the message given by Our Lady through three different visionaries on November 9th at exactly 7:07 p.m. Jerusalem time. Her words were, "My beloved children, the time of great purification has arrived. On November 17th, when the sun sets, the manifestation of the secrets I have kept for decades will begin. Not destruction, not catastrophe, but purification, light entering darkness." To our elders listening to this message, to those who have prayed for their families, their children, their grandchildren for years, I tell you, your prayers have not been in vain. You will be the pillars of faith in this moment. You have walked through many seasons of life. You have seen joy and sorrow. You have buried loved ones, welcomed new generations, and persevered through trials that younger hearts cannot yet understand. And now heaven asks you to stand once more, not in fear, but in peace, to guide your families spiritually through this time. Let me share further what the Blessed Mother said to Sister Espinosa, the 89-year-old nun in Bolivia, who broke her vow of silence after 40 years to proclaim, "The Mother is coming. Prepare your hearts." Sister Espinosa later explained that she felt an overwhelming presence of love, so strong that it compelled her to speak after decades of silence. She described the Blessed Virgin as standing in a light so pure it seemed to erase all sorrow. The message she received was simple. Tell my children to return to the heart of God. Tell them that those who pray will feel no fear. My brothers and sisters, the theme is consistent across every apparition, every vision, every miraculous sign. Pray, prepare, do not fear. But how do we prepare? What does heaven ask of us? First, the Blessed Mother urges us to place the rosary in our homes, not as a decoration, not as a token, but as a living sign of protection. When a rosary is placed with faith at the entrance of a home, it becomes, in her words, a silent sentinel, calling angels to guard and defend. She asks us to keep our homes free from conflict, harsh words, resentment, and the spiritual openings that evil tries to use. Where there is prayer, darkness cannot dwell. She also asks us to pray daily, even a single decade of the rosary, even a small prayer from the heart, because each prayer becomes a barrier of light. For the elderly listening, you know better than anyone that every small prayer, every whispered plea, every tear offered to God carries weight. Heaven does not count perfection. Heaven counts sincerity. Second, she calls us to forgiveness. Evil tries to enter most easily through wounds that have not healed. Old anger, old betrayals, long-standing bitterness. But forgiveness closes those doors. As Our Lady said in Medjugorje, every gesture of forgiveness weakens the darkness. Third, she asks us for inner silence, to disconnect from noise, from distractions, from the voices of this world that confuse the heart. Heaven speaks in stillness, and in these days leading to November 17th, stillness will allow your soul to hear God's whisper. Fourth, she urges us not to give in to fear. Fear is the instrument the enemy uses to weaken faith. She said, when the illumination comes, those who are praying will feel peace like a gentle breeze. Those who are not prepared may feel confusion. Therefore, pray, my children, pray. And finally, she promises her presence. Wherever one of my children holds the rosary, I will be there. Wherever one of my children prays, I will intercede. My dear brothers and sisters, this is not a call to withdraw from life. This is not a call to abandon hope. This is a call to awaken, to return to grace, to prepare the heart, to live with intention, and to trust in the protection of heaven. The message is powerful, but it is not frightening. It is a message of mercy, a message of love, a message given to remind us that God has not abandoned the world, even though the world has often abandoned him. And so, as November 17th approaches, take this time to reflect, to pray, to place your home under the mantle of the Blessed Mother. Encourage your children and grandchildren gently, without fear, without pressure, without alarm, to open their hearts. For the light that is coming is a divine gift, a moment of profound grace. This is the core of the message entrusted to you today, not by chance, not by coincidence, but because heaven desires your peace, your protection, and your spiritual readiness. My dear brothers and sisters, as we approach November 17th, let us walk forward calmly with faith and trust. Do not let fear enter your mind. Do not let confusion disturb your peace. Heaven does not speak to destroy. It speaks to awaken and protect. Here is what you can do in a simple, gentle, meaningful way. 1, pray even a single decade of the Rosary daily. Each Hail Mary is a flower placed in the heart of God. 2, place a rosary in a visible place in your home, at the door, by your bed, or in the living room. Let it be a reminder of heaven's presence. 3, keep peace in your home. Speak with kindness. Avoid arguments. Allow love to be your shield. 4, forgive someone, even silently. Forgiveness closes spiritual wounds that the enemy tries to use. 5, choose silence for a few moments each day. God speaks most clearly in stillness. 6, offer your fears to God. Say, Lord, I trust in you. For those who are older, who have lived through many storms, know this. Heaven values your prayers perhaps more than you realize. Your words carry the weight of decades of faith. Your heart carries the memory of countless trials endured. You are not forgotten. You are not alone. You are not without purpose. On November 17th, when the spiritual illumination begins, those who have prepared with prayer will feel peace, clarity, and a profound nearness of God. Trust in this promise. Trust in the Blessed Mother. Trust in the mercy that is unfolding. May the Lord bless you. May the Virgin Mary protect you, and may your home be filled with peace now and in the days to come.